So basically, Peter, you've got the government now committing to a much greater spending program all the way to March. You had the Reserve Bank governor, as Phil Lowe, who's probably one of the most mild-mannered people you ever met, doing a Mario Draghi impersonation. That was the European Union or the European Central Bank boss who helped rescue Europe after the GFC. And Mario Draghi became known as Super Mario because he said, whatever it takes, we're going to do it. And Phil Lowe basically said the same thing. So you got both the Treasurer and the Reserve Bank governor saying, we're going to keep throwing stuff at this economy to beat the negativity surrounding the coronavirus. On top of that, the Europeans, they came out with a $750 billion recovery fund. Unusual to see the Europeans actually acting in a unified kind of way. So then you throw into the mix again the great news we're hearing on vaccines.
Yes.
Like overnight, Pfizer and BioNTech came out with some really good data, and then the Oxford University AstraZeneca program, great immune response. And you can see Donald Trump, who is clearly worried about the US election, he's throwing as much money and support as he can behind these drug companies to come up with something before the election. So throwing it all together, Pete, there's reason to believe that the negativity we're seeing, particularly coming out of Victoria and the infections in the US, could become like a reason for more stimulus than we need. And so 2021 could be a rip-roaring year if a vaccine shows up. And I think the stock market's saying that.
Yeah, well, there's about 140, I was reading last night, 140 different packs of scientists that are working on a vaccine at the moment, moving on to different stages, but probably not going to have it before the end of this year. So what does this mean going forward for the stock market after a really good ride yesterday?
Yeah, well, look, Pete, obviously there'll be some pullback along the way.
Yeah.
But the magnitude of the spend means that, A, wage earners are going to stay in jobs or at least receiving income. B, they'll continue to consume because, consumption's been pretty good. Because even though people are working at home, they're spending in the suburban economies while the CBD economies are suffering a bit. And then on top of that, you've got the idea that, well, companies will probably make better profits than we expected because the government's helping them make these profits. Therefore, we buy the stocks of these companies and the stock prices are holding up and doing pretty well. So, look it all rests on a very important milestone. A vaccine's got to come sooner rather than later. You said end of the year, but end of the year is based on the old knowledge of what the FDA, that's the Federal Drug Administration, all the barriers they put in the way of new ideas and new vaccines. I reckon what we're seeing now is governments are saying to all the regulators, you get your butts off the seats and get this happening ASAP because people are dying and the economies are suffering. And in Donald Trump's case, he could lose an election if he doesn't get something happening soon.